Hey guys, my name is Zan. So obviously, I'm home from the hospital now. I got home Wednesday evening. Was that the 30th? May 30th, I think. Um, and there were some things that I talked about in my hospital video vlog thing, whatever it ended up being. One of the things was I had mentioned like in-home care, like what it was going to take to get me in-home care. And while I was at the hospital, they had a social worker come talk to me actually about that. And so I wanted to give you guys kind of a general update on like what's going on with me and stuff like that. I have some news to share with you guys that is going to end up evolving into a like a video series, I guess. And so anyway, yeah. So with the in-home healthcare stuff, basically, in order for me to qualify for any kind of in-home health care, I have to be housebound. I can't be able to get out and go out on my own. There was two different options. One was like a personal like care assistant, which is like a nurse or a CNA or somebody that would come in and actually help me with like getting dressed and getting bathed and stuff like that on a semi-daily basis, or for like a certain amount of time during each day. And then the other option was to have somebody come in once a week to check on me and make sure I'm taking all my medication and that I don't need like prescription refills and things like that, and just to kind of check up on how my health is doing, which neither. Okay, so in order for me to have a personal care assistant, which was the first option, I have to be housebound. I can't be able to go out and do things on my own, which doesn't work for me, obviously, because I am a college student, I do have school. I'm not going to make myself stay at home so that I can get that kind of care. The other thing, though, with the personal care assistant is it's for a set amount of time each day. It's not that I can call them and be like, hey, I need help getting upstairs to go to the bathroom. I need help getting in the shower right now. It is that they would come for like a few hours in the morning or a few hours in the evening, and that's it. The other option, once a week, obviously doesn't work for me, because what is once a week going to do for me anyway? The other option that the social worker talked out with me was to go into some kind of a rehab facility or a long-term care nursing home type setting, which doesn't obviously work. I can't do physical rehab for my psychogenic seizures. That doesn't work. That doesn't help at all. It's not that kind of thing. So basically all of the options that were available, either my insurance didn't cover them, so I'd have to do them private pay, which obviously I don't have the money for, or my insurance did cover them, but I had to meet a certain specific criteria of being like housebound and not being able to do literally anything for myself, and basically having a non-changeable static condition, which isn't me. So none of the options that were available for me to have the care that I need when I don't have people like Joseph home to carry me up the stairs, nothing was available. Nothing was going to work out. So basically, I'm just kind of screwed right now with that. I did talk to the social worker at the hospital, and I was a little frustrated, I hope understandably so, about not having options to be able to have somebody come over when I'm having a seizure in both of my legs. And I think I think she understood, kind of why I was frustrated, but her hands were tied. There wasn't anything that she could do. Insurance is insurance. So anyway, aside from that, I found out when I was in the hospital that I'm pregnant, which was a very interesting story of how we found out, because Sunday night I had gone to the ER and had a pregnancy test there because that's standard, that came back negative. Then Monday, when we took me back to Cass, had a pregnancy test there, that was positive. Then when I got into the Kansas University ER room, they did another pregnancy test because it's standard, and that came up negative. So I had a negative, a positive, and a negative within a 24-hour span. And so when I finally got admitted into an actual room, the nurse was like, I'm going to have the doctors order you a blood test to see if, the hormone is actually in your blood, or if maybe there was some mistake made, like they accidentally tested the wrong blood or the wrong urine and told you that you were pregnant when you're really not. And so that in and of itself was a little bit of an ordeal, because that would have been Tuesday morning. They drew blood specifically for the express purpose of testing for the HCG hormone, which is the pregnancy hormone that the embryo creates, in case you didn't know that. So I waited the whole Tuesday to get my results, and Tuesday night I asked, was like, do we have results yet? And the night nurse was like, I don't see them on here, maybe they'll come in tomorrow morning. So when the morning came, that would have been Wednesday morning, the hospitalist came in, and I asked her, I was like, so did we ever get results from my pregnancy test? And she was like, oh, I don't see it on here. And I'm like, that's what they drew blood for yesterday morning. And she goes, oh, they did something else with that blood. I was like, okay, so I still need this test because we don't know if I'm actually pregnant or not. So she was like, I'll put in a rush order, because they had also drawn blood Wednesday morning. She was like, I'll put in a rush order for you to get that tested. So that came back a couple hours later that I was in fact pregnant. They said that the hormone levels were pretty low, so I was probably pretty early along. And then when I went Thursday to see my primary care, she said that I wouldn't make my first OB appointment until the beginning of July. So after the initial shock of getting the news and everything, we're now starting to get into this mode, of that we're really super excited, but there's also this sort of like, we're hesitant to get too excited because Miscarriage runs in my side of the family and Joseph's side of the family. His mom miscarried 4 times before they got pregnant with Joseph, who is the oldest. And my mom has miscarried once. And I think my grandmother on my mom's side has miscarried too, but I'm not 100% on that. I think I've heard that before, but I don't know for sure. So yeah, anyway, miscarriage runs in the family in general. So we're at this point, like, we're already getting into the mode of like preparing for the baby, so we don't want to have to kind of go through the whole ordeal of losing the pregnancy. So we're just kind of at this point hoping that everything is okay. So yeah, anyway, I want to sort of turn this into kind of a mini series of like being pregnant while disabled. Maybe that'll help somebody down the road too. I also want to, I think I want to cover some things on like being pregnant while being in a wheelchair, because I am a part-time wheelchair user. I think I've done some looking around, and I found a couple of videos from people on YouTube about, you know, being pregnant in a wheelchair or parenting in a wheelchair, and those have been really helpful, but not everything that they have to say is totally applicable to me or people who maybe have my same diagnosis or similar symptoms that I do, because you know, not everybody obviously has the same, you know, experiences with their disability and being in a wheelchair and stuff like that. So yeah, I just might as well add my opinion to the pool. But anyway, the last thing that I want to say before I kind of wrap up here is I did get a new phone, and it is an iPhone, so it did come with iMovie, and so my last video was kind of me playing around a little bit with like editing and stuff like that with the iMovie and all that stuff. So I think I'm going to continue doing that. I get pretty good video quality and audio quality on my new phone, so I'm probably going to, depending on the situation, be recording more on my phone now that I know that I have reliable audio, since my old phone the audio was going out. So anyway, I think that's kind of just about it. You know, I'm out of the hospital, I'm doing okay, I'm still really tired, but that's usual for me coming out of the hospital. So anyway, stay tuned, you guys. Hopefully I'll have some videos pertaining to some requests that I've gotten from some friends, and plus the whole pregnancy while being disabled kind of thing. So anyway, I will see you guys in the next video.